All right, y'all, welcome back. So today we're mic'd up. We're gonna see if this kind of helps my audio quality. Anyway, last week we talked about Misty Copeland's Oscar performance um, in the musical tribute to Sinners, the movie. Okay, so that was a moment of grace, of representation, of artistic excellence. But this week, we're going to kind of flip the script and talk about something that's a little bit more uncomfortable, but definitely an important conversation. Okay, so today we're talking about blackface in ballet. Its history, why it's still happening, and why it's harmful, and in my opinion and ideas, what can be done to change it. Okay, so before we start pointing fingers, we need to understand how blackface even started, right? Okay, so blackface has its roots in 19th century minstrel shows where white performers would paint their faces black with exaggerated lips and eyes to mock and caricature Black people. It dehumanized, ridiculed, and reinforced racist stereotypes that justified social injustices and inequality. Okay, so as ballet spread from Western Europe to the rest of the world, those same colonial ideas about race came with it. So in productions like La Bayadere and Petrushka, characters of color were often portrayed through caricature, so not representation, right? So white dancers would darken their skin to play Moors or servants or Indian temple dancers, replicating the same imagery that the minstrel shows made popular. So dance historian, I hope I say his name correctly, dance historian Alistair Macaulay points out that even in the mid 20th century, works by major choreographers like Balanchine were staged with white dancers who painted their skin brown, sometimes leaving literal smears of brown grease paint on white tutus backstage. The tradition became so normalized that generations of dancers just accepted it as costuming. Okay, so fast forward to the 21st century, you think such practices would be long gone, but even in 2019, a post from Misty Copeland changed the conversation forever. So Misty Copeland reposted a photo of two Bolshoi ballet students in blackface. They were rehearsing La Bayadere, and her caption called out the normalization of racism in ballet, and it went viral. So with nearly 2 million followers at the time, her voice couldn't be ignored, right? And still, the Bolshoi theater defended the practice, calling the criticism ridiculous and insisting that the makeup wasn't meant to be racist, just tradition. So that's when the dance world split. Western audiences largely saw blackface as unacceptable, while still in Russia and parts of Europe argued that it was just part of the art form. But as a dancer, Dana Nicholas revealed she herself was made to wear blackface in La Bayadere as an 11-year-old performing with the Mariinsky Ballet. An 11-year-old. Only later did she realize that she had been participating in something that was deeply racist. That guilt, that confusion, that moment of reckoning, it speaks to how systematic the problem really is. It's not just tradition, it's training generations to look away. Okay, so why is blackface even problematic? At its core, blackface in ballet is damaging because it reduces entire cultures to costuming. Dancers darken their skin for a role. They're not portraying a character, they're portraying the concept of race, shaped by stereotypes. So it devalues dancers of color and sends a message to the ballet world with all its traditions, prestige, and gates that it's still not built for us. And beyond optics, it's about impact. So audiences see these performances and are reminded, consciously or not, that whiteness is normal and everyone else is a role to be played. So who is even still doing blackface and who's changing the narrative? Okay, so outside of Russia, blackface in major ballet companies has mostly disappeared, but mostly isn't good enough, right? So companies like the Bolshoi and Mariinsky still use dark makeup in La Bayadere, claiming it's historically accurate and not intended for mockery. Meanwhile, many Western companies are taking the opposite approach. So the Royal Ballet, ABT, Dutch National Ballet have reimagined these traditional roles, updated costumes, and removed offensive portrayals. So a big part of the costuming and culture that you can probably recall in your own mind is Nutcracker, right? We've all seen Nutcracker with the Chinese fingers. So it's nice to see nowadays companies kind of redoing the choreography, reimagining it, making it more culturally appropriate. And these changes don't erase ballet's history, right? They just acknowledge it and continue to evolve from it. So the path forward, in my opinion, what can be done? So first we have to acknowledge that there is actually a problem, right? Pretending that blackface is harmless tradition only makes the harm worse, right? Ballet institutions must name it for what it is, racism, and educate students and audiences alike. Reimagine the classics, right? Directors, choreographers, and designers can modernize productions without losing the artistic value. Representation and respect can coexist within that tradition. Diversify leadership, putting more people of color in positions of creative authority. Teachers, artistic directors, costume designers ensure that multiple cultural lenses shape the future. And support the change makers, right? Dancers like Misty Copeland, Ingrid Sylvia have used their platforms to change these norms and inspire new generations. Their work shows what ballet can look like when everyone is invited to the table. So the question isn't should blackface still exist in ballet, it's why did it even exist in the first place? Dance tells stories. It embodies humanity. And if our art excludes stereotypes and silence part of that humanity, then it's truly not ballet. It's just performance. So let's keep pushing ballet in every art form to move in step with justice, not tradition. All right, thanks for watching, and as always, keep dancing with purpose.